is residual income?
It's how Beyonce and Jay-Z get paid.
So you got through listening. Now they're listening because you said those two names. How they get paid. So Beyonce and Jay-Z make an album.
Yep.
That's really not how they get paid.
Yeah.
It's because of the residual income. What happens?
Yeah. They sing a song and they sing it one time. They record it one time, but they get paid every single time you listen to it, you buy it, you download it.
Hey, thanks for being in the REC experience. I'm your buddy Jas Takhar with your girl, Laura Alto Stewart.
Hey, what's up?
What up? What a good episode today.
What a good episode today.
Like,
I
fun.
feel empowered.
Why?
And inspired.
Why do you say that?
Because they were just so great and empowering and inspiring.
First power couple.
Mr.
Franco Lofranco and Wendee Saunders brought the straight goods.
Well, first of all, let's not say
studio.
Mr. Franco Lofranco.
Oh.
He's not a Mister. He has his own title.
Yes. What was it?
Cavaliere?
Yes. What is that? So I want to know if you were actually listening to the episode. What is a cavaliere?
Well, I was working during the episode.
Okay.
So you might be able to explain it better.
Yes. He was essentially knighted by the Italian Prime Minister himself. In Britain, you get knighted by the Queen.
Right.
The process
there, it's not as cool.
Yeah,
no Queen here.
No Queen here. The process here is done by the Prime Minister of Italy, but you'll have to obviously listen into the episode on why they chose him and the process of it. But
and now that's like my goal in life, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
Well,
ASAP.
this guy, he also told the story about how he bought a plane, so that's going to be my goal.
Oh, okay, that's actually cooler.
But Wendee, his fiance, was just amazing to listen to. Her energy is second to none, and she really spoke a lot about her process in the business, getting started in the business that they now are in together, and spoke about working together.
Well, yeah, working together and how she loves, like, a lot of people say, you live with your spouse or your fiance and you work together. That's a lot. She said, we're just best friends. We want to be around each other all the time, which is so sweet. And you could tell, like, it just oozes out of them that they want to be around each other. Like, he brought her here. She wasn't, we didn't know she was coming today.
Yeah.
And he brought her here just to probably tag along, come watch. And then we said, well, why not have her on it? Because her story is just as inspiring.
I think she stole the show.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah.
My favorite thing that she said was probably near the end, so you had to listen all the way through, was about the horses.
Yeah,
and the blinders. Because, I mean, so she's in an industry where her husband is the famous one.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that could weigh on you a bit and say, oh, I'm always in my spouse's shadow.
Yeah.
And instead of her saying that, she said, no, I'm a racehorse. I put my blinders on. I don't care what's happening to my right or to my left. All I see is my vision, my goals, my dreams straight ahead. Yeah. And that's how she lives. And I think that was really cool.
How she goes about making lists, how he actually started setting goals. Like he owned 5 businesses, and a couple of them.
He was doing a lot of good stuff before he started doing even better stuff.
Even better stuff now. So as always, guys, would love your feedback. There's obviously a lot of crossover now between all of our platforms, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, as well as our long form written blog on medium.com. The feedback, it really means the world to us. As always, Alto, thank you very much.
You bet.
Okay, and to the rest of the team, thanks for doing what you guys do. And to the listeners and the viewers, thank you. Take care, guys.
Enjoy.
REC Experience presents Real Estate, Entrepreneurship, Leadership with your host, Jas Takhar. The REC Experience podcast is now on air.
I am so excited today because this is our first episode with, if you guys don't mind me saying, a power couple. Mr. Franco Lofranco and Wendee, how are you guys doing today?
Phenomenal.
Amazing.
I know how busy you both are between flying from Toronto to the States, and we're talking off air, going into South America. But you guys made time for me today, so thank you for that.
Anything for you, Jas. You the man.
I appreciate
you
that,
the man.
brother. I do have a quick question for you, Franco, before we get started. The Cavaliere, how did that come about? My listeners and our viewers need to know this.
I got that. So it was interesting. So years ago, I had a big technology company, and a gentleman from Italy did a bio on me because of the company, the big technology fiber optic company that I built in Toronto, Canada. And they put it on TV in the U.S. In Italy, and the minister kind of looked at it and said, "That's interesting. Let's investigate this young man and what has he built." And his parents are both Italian, so because what Cavaliere basically means is, in the UK they have Sir,
Yes.
in Italy they have Cavaliere. And that basically means the same thing, except in the UK, the Queen bestows it.
Right.
It
does the whole thing.
That's right. A little bit more interesting, probably a little bit more glamorous. In Italy, it's the president of the country, right?
That's still something to talk about.
Yeah, pretty cool. So it was literally a 5-year process. And every year, they would call me and say, "Congratulations, you were nominated to be knighted." I said, "Great." And then every year, after 5 years, I said, "Congratulations, it's official." I go, "Wow, that's pretty cool." So we did a big ceremony at the embassy, at the consulate office. It was really amazing. My parents loved it.
Obviously.
My parents, it was like huge, right?
For sure.
So yeah, so it was a really amazing experience, a big honor. And Simon, who we both know, was there. We had a great time, friends and family, a great experience. And it's one of those things that you don't expect ever to happen to you.
Right.
And then when it does, like, wow, it happened. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so that's
you didn't wake up, as a kid, that's not what you,
Yeah.
esteem to be as a knight by like be knighted and serve, but it happens. Right?
Yeah,
Things happen all the time.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's a great tool to use when you're single. Hey, I was knighted? No, obviously not, but
I didn't say when you were single. I didn't make mention of that. So at one point you were single, but you're obviously not.
Yeah.
How did you two meet?
great story. You want to say it?
No, you tell it. You tell it.
For both sides, because I have a feeling they're going to be a little different.
We were at an event for our business,
Okay.
and I saw her I was speaking, and I saw her in the audience. I go, "Wow, who's that?" And I was just like looking at her, I was like mesmerized. I go, obviously, she's very beautiful, so I was like mesmerized. And then I said, "Okay, I'll talk to her after the event's over."
Okay.
And then after the event, I got bombarded with people asking me questions, and then by the time I looked around, she was gone. I go,
You're still thinking about her. Like
yeah, it's like, I missed it. So,
Missed her
so
opportunity.
a few months later, saw her again. She came to another event and she's in the audience. I go, "Oh, there she is again." I said, "Okay, this is great. I'm going to go talk to her." Again, got bombarded, missed her again. I go, "Oh, no, it's two. This is horrible." So
It's not meant to be.
months later, maybe, I don't know, it was a while later, I flew to an event we were doing in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I go waiting for my bag to come through the baggage claim. And she's standing right next to me. I'm
Get
like,
out of here.
"Oh my gosh, that's her." All of a sudden I got nervous. And I don't get nervous. Like, I just don't get nervous.
Well,
And-
for our listeners and our viewers, I mean, you're used to speaking in front of thousands. I mean, 15, 20, 30,000 people. For you to
Yeah.
get nervous, but I understand why too. I would too.
I was so nervous. So I looked at her and I'm like staring. I go, "What do I say? I got to say something. I got to say." So I looked at her. I said, "Hi." That's my opening line. "Hi."
You didn't use the I'm knighted line on her?
No. She goes, and she said, she said, "Hi." She said, "Hi back." This is great. We started the conversation. So we just started talking and we hit it off from that point. And it's now been, 9 years or almost 10 years.
Congratulations.
It's been awesome. We're engaged now, which we're very excited about. So
When
it's
did that
been
happen?
an
When did
amazing
you guys get
experience.
engaged? How long have you guys been engaged?
Last July.
Okay.
So we're probably we're looking at getting married in Europe sometime
Nice.
next year. Yeah. So it's gonna be really exciting.
Would it be back in Italy?
Italy.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Where is back home exactly in Italy?
my parents were born in a region called Basilicata, which is right on the Arch of the Boot. My mom grew up in Rome.
Okay.
So that's where I spend most of my summers and most of the time when I go to Italy because I got still a family there and things. So that's where.
That's where
Yeah.
the big day will be.
No, probably not.
Okay.
She's organizing it. She's picking it. You can ask her about that. She's in charge.
Wendy, how's it been working, because you guys work very closely with each other in the business, and we're going to get into what business you're in and everything that opportunity can offer to our listeners and our viewers. But how's it been working day in to day out with the person that you're in a relationship with?
Yeah, you know what? It's actually great. We do really well together. We've done so much personal growth and development that when you do that, you kind of can get over things and don't take things too seriously. And so it's been great. And in our business, he's such a really an icon in our business. He is someone that people all over the world want their coaching. So I am aware of that. And, you know, when we first started dating and I was building my own separate business, and he was just my boyfriend.
Right.
And he would be doing calls and doing conferences, and it just didn't occur to me, like, hello, you've got, like, you know, the LeBron James of basketball. Like, he's that in our industry.
I know he is, yes.
Yeah, why am I not recording this? Why am I not, you know, listening around the corner? And so I just really got that, you know, aside from our relationship, there's a great opportunity for me to learn from somebody that people would give anything to be able to spend that kind of time. So we do really well together. And I think, and he's also really patient with me as I'm learning, and he is letting me fumble and bumble and, you know, do what I need to do to grow. So it's actually really great. And we spend all our time together. We go to the gym together. And I often think, wow, so many people are like trying to get rid of their other half once in a while. And we like want to be together because we're just, we are always have fun. And it's been really great.
Well, here's what's funny.
I'm grateful for
she's
it.
very humble because she's really good at the business too.
Okay.
So here's what's funny. So when we first started dating, they referred to her as my girlfriend, right? So I don't know when this flipped, but at some point it flipped, and when she got really good, and now she trains in front of all these people and does all this great stuff, it goes, oh, that's Franco, that's her fiance. Yeah. So it's like it flipped at some point. I go, oh, hey, I'm like, now I'm the third wheel coming along here. I'm figuring out. I love that.
You've done so
Hardly.
many businesses. You've led organizations. I have to ask, and I'm just throwing this out there, so let's kind of just, you know, go around the table in that sense. What is it that you've seen some of the people who've taken on, like your advice, why is it that some can take the plunge and some can't? Like, is it just fear? And if it is just fear, how does someone get over that fear?
That's a great question. So from my experience, the number one thing is fear.
Okay.
It's an insecurity or a lack of belief in themselves. That's where the fear comes from, right? The fear comes from not believing that you can do whatever you think you can do, whatever that comes from, usually childhood or wherever that comes from, right? Maybe parents that weren't encouraging, maybe too many failures in life. But even then, for a lot of people, my experience has been, for people that are really successful, they've had a lot of failures, and that failure fuels them. So failure can either fuel you or it can demoralize you. It just depends on how you internalize it, right? And so, like, for me, at the beginning, when I first started, my first few companies all failed, but that fueled me. It embarrassed me. I was tired of that, and it fueled me to success, and it created a fire in my belly that still hasn't gone out.
Where you could have been the guy who quit and just
Correct.
never got over that hump.
Correct. And I think when I ask myself, what's the difference between me and other people that quit, when I look at, because obviously I've, you know, now trained tens of thousands of people all over the world, what I've noticed is people that quit, and I understand, like, you know, sometimes they get punched in the face so many times.
It hurts.
It hurts, and I get it. But that's the growth that you need to get to where you got to get to. And so for myself, what I've seen is, if I look at people that have made it and those that don't, like, even for you, that we've all gone through that, we all do that, right? It's normal. She's gone through it. There's an inner belief that they have that it's okay, they'll make it, they can survive. And those that don't, they don't believe that. And that's the hardest part to teach anybody, is self-belief. How do you give somebody the ability to believe that they can? It's okay. You know, so in our business, for example, encouragement is very important. Encouraging people they can. Yes, don't worry about it. It's almost like rewriting your script. You know, because think about the world we live in. It's negative. The news is negative. Everything's negative, right? All the news stories that come out. So after a while, your mind just starts to absorb all that negativity, and you internalize it about yourself, not just the world around you. So your environment that you're in also makes a difference. So we want to create an environment, the people we work with, that, hey, look, you can do this. Don't worry about it. It's all great. Now, look, you got to work. There's nothing without work.
For sure.
But you got to be able to create an environment where people get recognized. Yeah, we have an event coming up in a few days where recognition is going to be huge for us, and recognizing the people that are doing the right things. You do it in real estate, same thing.
Right. It's, you know, guys, I say it a lot to my team as well. I mean, my organization and my team is not as big as yours guys, but we're hopefully one day get there. We're at 35.
Sure you will.
We're at 35. And I think, you know, what myself and my partner try to tell our team on a regular basis is, like, really don't listen to the outside noise. get that feeling, whatever that passion is inside you, and dance within your own box and shut out the noise. Because you're right, Franco, like there's so much negativity. Wendee, did you feel that starting out in business at the start, and how did you deal with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what I see for a lot of people is there's also the fear of what other people think.
Other people's opinions.
Yeah, whenever you break out of the box and want to go into leadership or entrepreneurship, you're immediately faced with a group of people that are just giving you all sorts of either opinions, or you can't do this, or no one could ever do that. Just everything. And so or making fun of them, like, oh, whatever. And so I just think that the people get so caught up in what people think of them because they want to please everyone versus focusing on, like what you said, if you can shut out the outside noise and focus on why are you doing it in the first place, and then visualize what happens when you're there. Now, what are those people saying? In my journey in our business, it wasn't always easy. It never is. Right. And I just remember a defining moment. I took out a journal and I wrote down, all the things of the impact of when I get this done and when I reach my goal. What is everybody saying? What do I feel like? What's my confidence? All the things that I was worried about. I looked at that. But then I wrote a list of what happens if I don't do it. What happens?
Different. I like that.
And
yeah.
I've got 2 grown kids, and I just, and I thought of the group. There's always that group of people that you kind of want to have the "I told you so." You want to be like, "I told you, I was going to do this."
Right? I don't think there's anything wrong.
You got to have an "I told you so" list that drives you. Yeah. And I remember making that list. And
that's what we're going to call it from now on, Laura. It's "I told you so" list. Because we're still trying to figure out what is it. It's "I told you so."
You can have an "I told you so" party, a big party. Give everyone a card. Whoever has the gold card, stand up. You're in the "I told you so" list. Thank you for your help. Thank you for not believing in me because it pushed me. Yes. So I just started to think, what if I don't accomplish this? What if I give up? What now? How do I feel? Now, there's certain group of people saying, I knew she wouldn't do it. And then, I have 2 grown kids and I was like, and what happens when they face those people and they say, so how's your mom doing? Oh, well, she gave up. And that made me sick to my stomach. And so I took those 2 things and I was like, you know what? There's no option. Like, burn the boats. There's no option to not get it done. And then when you decide that, you stop worrying about some of the things that don't matter because you realize, like, it doesn't matter. I have to get it done.
And now over to Wendee's fiance. Back to you. Because I totally get why people say it. I totally get it. Of course now. It's the first time Wendee and I have really been able to spend some time.
Let's do a test. Look at me now.
Yes.
Right? Now look at me. I just got handsomer.
Clem,
look at me now. Look at me now. I just got handsomer. See how that works?
To our listeners, I know I always picture you guys in the car, but I know you might be taking your dog for a walk. Get to our YouTube page because you need to see this. Definitely need to see this. I want to talk about your business. What business are you guys in together? I really want to open it up and talk everything about your business. I mean, the company's name is ACN.
Correct.
But talk to our listeners, probably the 19 people that haven't heard about it yet.
No, it's awesome. It's a residual income business, and we broker and resell telecom services, credit card processing services, energy services, in 26 countries around the world. And the reason why I got started in the first place is because of the power of residual income. I started in the business 13 and a half years ago. I had no experience in the industry itself. And what was cool about it is we had only one service in a few countries because the world had not deregulated yet. Back then when I started, the iPhone wasn't even invented yet.
What year are we talking now? 2005.
Okay. 2005 when we started. And slowly over the last few years, the world started to change. New technology, deregulation, governments wanting competition. And we went from a few countries to 26 countries. We went from one service to now many services around the world. And we went, and the owners did something that's never been done before. So our owners, we have incredible owners that spent a small fortune on a portal, like a one-stop shop for services. Okay. So if you look at what Amazon did, very powerful, right?
Sure.
You can buy any product. Yep. You can't buy services on Amazon. You can't get your internet, your cell phone, your TV service on Amazon. So what they did was created a one-stop shop for services, partnering with the biggest brands and companies all in one store so that you can get your services on there.
Me as a consumer, for example.
As a consumer, for example.
So I can get my home phone, cell phone,
internet,
cable,
all the services.
Electricity
as well,
Electricity,
right? Okay.
gas.
Okay,
you know,
perfect. Continue.
right? In Ontario, hot water rentals, the only place in the world.
$25 a month. We still pay for the hot water tank.
I tell Americans that, and they're like, "What?
Why would you rent?
That's like the mafia."
It's so true. I tell my friends, like my friends in Alberta and BC, they're like, "Why don't you guys just buy the tank?" Anyways, yeah.
Why? When we can finance.
When
What
we
is
can-
wrong?
yeah.
Anyway, so it's been pretty cool.
Okay.
And now we just launched Colombia. We just launched cell phone service in Colombia, and just our team got tens of thousands of cell phone customers in Colombia since September the 10th. It's been an incredible ride. And so the key of our business is residual income. The holy grail of income, being in real estate,
Yes.
is residual income.
So I'm going to stop you guys there really quickly because I know we have a listener that's 16 years old right now. They've never heard the term of residual income. What is residual income?
It's how Beyonce and Jay-Z get paid.
So you've got they're listening now. Now they're listening because you said those two names. How they get paid. So Beyonce and Jay-Z make an album.
Yep.
That's really not how they get paid.
Yeah.
It's because of the residual income. What happens?
Yeah. They sing a song and they sing it one time. They record it one time, but they get paid every single time you listen to it, you buy it, you download it.
Still
So,
similar to how
yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld and
100%,
Kramer and
yeah.
all these guys get paid, right?
your
It's-
That's
favorite
right.
show.
That's my favorite show.
Your favorite
That's
show.
why we're kindred souls.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Wendy, it's
Every
by
day,
far my
I
favorite
watch
show.
2 episodes.
Do
Yeah.
you?
Oh, yeah.
So I don't get a chance to watch 2 episodes, but I probably have seen the whole show 5 times over.
Are you on Instagram?
Yes, I am.
Okay, then I'm
We're
going to
gonna
hook you
connect.
up with
100%.
some pages that you have to
And it's
follow
quite
for your
easy to
daily
do-
dose.
So I can get my 1 minute
Oh, yeah.
fixes.
Oh, yeah.
Off the top of your
Yeah.
head, favorite episode.
Oh my gosh.
Because we were just talking about this 2 days ago. I know which
Oh
one.
my
mine
God,
is.
I have so many
Just-
favorites.
I know it's hard. Give me 1 or 2.
Oh.
I'll start you. How
Okay,
about that?
yeah.
Backward episode. So
Yeah.
Kramer starts the...
When they go to India?
When they go to India.
Oh yeah.
And not only because I'm Indian, I'm not saying it. It was my favorite
That was
episode of all
mind-blowing,
time. What are you saying?
Yeah, it was awesome. I liked all of them. We just watched the Big Nose episode. Probably like I can relate.
Oh yeah. Oh, with Kramer. Yeah, you just need a nose job. Yeah.
That was hideous. They butchered you.
Or when he stays in his room.
I like the pool one. I like when they go away for the weekend and it's Jerry's girlfriend and George had been in the pool and she walked in and he's like, I was in the
That's the
pool.
lobster one.
So I think I like the George
Shrinkage.
shenanigans. Yeah.
Shrinkage.
Yeah.
I was in the pool. I love that one. The shrinkage one.
Oh my God.
What a show. So residual income, they get paid over and over and over again.
Right. And then what we just did was promote Seinfeld. More people are going to watch it, and he's going to make more residual income.
Yeah, that's right.
That's how that
So
works.
true. How does one get part of the business? Because that's like I, as a consumer can get the products. The services. That's one part of the business. I'm really, and I really want the listeners and the viewers to
Yeah.
hear how they can actually get part of it. How can they get residual income? Because most of them cannot sing like Beyonce and Jay-Z or make us laugh like,
Yeah,
obviously.
I'm in. No talent.
No talent in that
Zero.
sense. Yeah. Other than this and
Yeah,
helping people find some
no
investment
talent,
properties, that's
yeah.
all I do. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really great. So you speak to someone like us,
Yep.
and then we have a system where we teach you a couple things. First, we're going to teach you how to get your own store started, and then we teach you 2 things. Number 1, how to acquire customers through your store in 26 countries around the world. And then second, we teach you how to build, and this is where you make a lot of money, we teach you how to build an organization of people doing the same thing. So you could be the CEO of your own company. You could be your own master broker. And then you can build an organization of people. And then what we teach you is a system to have you not only build an organization of people, but how does it now grow without you? So for example, in Colombia, when we got all those customers and all those people building there, I didn't recruit one person in Colombia. I have a team of people that did that. And because of that, I now get paid on tens of thousands of cell phone customers in Colombia. Yay for me, right?
Yes.
But it's because I started a system that I just followed a simple system that we teach people that over time, let's say over 3, 5, 6 years, then starts to grow without you globally. And that's the beauty of the business.
And we're going to go back and forth with talking more about the business, but I love that you said 3, 5, 6 years because like you need to have patience, and you're not sitting here saying, guys, this is going to happen for you in 3 to 6 months.
Well, how long do you go to university for? to get a degree?
Well, 4 years, right?
4 years.
That's only if you're doing.
And does someone pay you to go to that university?
What's the other way
Do you have
around?
to read a book?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, you got to sacrifice. So
I think part of the problem
same.
today is sacrifice versus instant gratification. So with social media, we're training our mind for that instant like, for that instant response, which is fine. As understand that's not how business works. Business is different, right? And now look, for some people, they'll have incredible success on social media and make gazillion dollars, but that's like 0.0001%.
It's the same as winning the lottery.
Exactly.
You
Or
can
become
win
a
the lottery.
professional athlete.
We're talking about
Same thing,
99.99999% of people. You're not going to win the lottery, and you're not going to be an influencer
Yeah.
on Instagram because you came up with
Exactly.
some slang, like some saying on a T-shirt or something. For people in business,
Yeah.
it's about patience, and so
Sacrifice and hard
Yeah.
work.
well, let's talk about that a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
what's your thoughts? Like, so sacrifice. What does that mean, right? So there's
Well,
there's that 22-year-old
Like if you think
person
of
listening.
like a Beyonce.
Yeah.
Do you think that there are other people in the world that could sing like Beyonce?
I mean, I know
100%, right?
for sure.
Yeah, I'm 100%. So what's the difference? Well, Beyonce had the tenacity to not give up, to get the door slammed in her face, to sacrifice, to work hard, to stay focused on her dream and getting that done. And so anyone that you can see in that kind of arena, you know, like there's a lot of people that probably could play basketball, like a LeBron James. They really could.
And LeBron didn't really care about his math grade and or his science grade. In
but it
grade
was his
8.
practice,
It was
his
that.
work ethic, his focus, his not giving up, his not listening to other people. So I think, you know, it's one thing if you're going to go invent something or do something that's never been done before, then you're really up against it. But I look at people and I say, listen, if there's someone else that's done it, then you can do it too. There's someone out there with your circumstances, your race, your religion, your circumstance, whatever it is, and they've done it. So you can go do it too. And I think that's got to be the focus, not worrying about who hasn't done it, but we'll find the person who has done it that's just like you and then figure out what they've done. You know, figure out what they had to do, what they went through, and follow their story.
Almost reverse
on your own.
engineer it, right?
Yeah.
Like we know what Franco and Wendee have done. Yes, it took a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifice, but we can sit with them and ask them the questions as we are doing now and try to reverse engineer that.
That's why when I start somebody, I'll ask them two questions. Number one, how much money do you want to be making in 5 years, residually?
Okay.
Two, how many hours part-time can you put in? And they're going to tell me that. And then I reverse engineer their plan. And I say, okay, based on what you just told me, here's what you got to do for the next 5 years to make that goal. And if you just do that, you'll do it. It'll be done. I guarantee it. So, because I'm a firm believer in goal setting, right? To me,
Right.
goal setting is huge. If you don't have any goals, you're just not going to get anywhere.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on that,
Yeah.
Franco? Like, are you talking goals in the head, or is there like a skill to it, writing it down?
There's
on
a skill to
paper?
goal.
Okay,
There's
talk
a
to me about it,
skill.
man.
There's a skill to goal setting that I learned many years ago. I had some great mentors that taught me how to set proper goals,
Okay.
how to set milestones, how to think from the future. So I had one mentor. He was really great. He said to me, he was teaching me some goal setting stuff, and he goes, "Okay, Franco, so let's start from the future and work our way back." I said, "All right," because you always want to work from the future. First of all, when you're living in the future, you're the most excited. When you're living in the present, you're not excited. What creates excitement is being in the future about what you're creating right now. So people that are not happy in life or depressed, their future isn't very bright. They haven't created something to inspire them. So he's just like, okay, I got that. So every time I don't feel good, okay, let me go back. What's my future? What am I creating? The minute I do that, and you probably do the same thing, right? The minute we do that, we're excited again, right? So that's the first thing. And then he says something very powerful. Okay, so now we created your plan. So we create a plan. We've spent a lot of time creating plans. Okay, now that the plan's created, understand it's not going to go according to plan. I said, okay, great. I said, but here's what I want you to say to yourself. And this, to me, was worth millions of dollars, what he just taught me. He said this, whenever something comes up that wasn't part of your plan, here's what you say to yourself. Okay, that you think from the future, looking back. Okay, that was supposed to happen. How did I overcome it?
How did I
overcome it from the future? Because here's what he said to me. When you have an obstacle in your life and you're living in the present, not from the future, you get overwhelmed with it. You get anxious. You make it wrong. You're like, oh, that shouldn't have happened. Why did that happen? Oh, my God. All those things. But if you go, no, you already have achieved your goal. Looking back, well, that was supposed to happen. Well, how did I resolve that? How did I do that? Thinking from the future. And now whenever that happens to me, that's the first place I go. And it's like the solution is simple. Though how you overcome it is simple. But from the present, nothing comes to your mind because you're just too freaking out about, oh my God, stressed out.
Look, just one word you change. How do I overcome it? And how did I overcome it? I love that. I've heard you speak about be, do, have. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like opposed to what most people do, which is do. Have, be.
So I'll start it this way.
Right.
So the number one thing people say to me when they're not having...
all those years back in the days,
you're actually listening. I'm impressed. Very good.
Just saying, my teachers never thought I did, and I did it in school, but I'm a personal development kind of guy.
You just listen in your own way.
100%.
Exactly right. So when people... It's funny because the number one thing people say to me when they're not having the results they have, it goes, Franco, what do I got to do to get my results? And I say to them, it's not about what you do. It's about who you're being. And they're like, what do you mean who I'm being? So, what's our species called? Human being, not human doer, right? We're a human being, okay? So if you actually look, it's a study of ontology. Like being is actually, there's actually a science to it. There actually is a definition to it, but we never learned that in school, right? Never, right? Nobody teaches us that, right? But like, a human being. Oh yeah, we're human beings. What is that? I don't know. I never actually ever looked up the word. I don't know what that means, right? But if you look it up, it actually is a way of operating as a person. And so what happens is, if you're being a certain way, that will give you the actions that you take, that will give you the results of that being. So really, like extreme examples. If you're being happy, if you're a happy person, you'll take actions of a happy person, have the results of a happy person. If you're being a victim in life, you'll naturally take the actions of a victim and have the results of a victim in life. So, and there's infinite ways of being happy, joyous, miserable, sad. So what I've learned is how to master life is learn how to master being. So a master of life, in my opinion, can take on any way of being at any time, whatever is called for. Versus restricted from the way they were raised, the way they grew up, the way they were trained to think from their either religion or family or school or environment.
It ties into what you were saying, right, Wendee, in terms of what Franco just mentioned, being, doing, and having. When you were talking about when things go wrong, how are you going to react to it, right? I've heard both of you say, because in preparation of this podcast, I just wanted to look at some YouTube videos and stuff like that, just kind of remind and refresh. And, there's times where you guys were going to quit the business.
Of course.
But your being at that time did not allow for that. What does it take? Like, what does it take for someone to make it in your business?
I'll say this in any business, okay? First of all, you need an environment around you to help you win. So what happens is most people put themselves in an environment to lose. So there's a saying, the environment always wins. You can't overcome the environment. It's almost impossible. So they could be in a relationship with a spouse that's negative, with a family that's negative, with friends that are negative. I'll give you an example. One of my first companies was an internet company that I started. Guess what most people told me when I started my first, and this is 1992, 1993.
It's a fad.
It's a fad.
Okay, so I honestly, I've never heard you say that. I just kind of figured, that's probably what it makes sense.
I can't tell you how many people told me you're wasting your time. What are you crazy?
This is silly.
And me, I'm thinking, the internet the future. I had a whole different vision, right? So I just eliminated those people. I just you're nice, but go over there, leave me alone, and I'm going to go build what I got to go build. Because I saw the vision. So you have to trust in yourself and you have to remove yourself. That doesn't mean you're no longer associating with them. Just, you just put them over here, put them to the side. And then here's what I learned.
Love them from afar.
Love from afar.
Right.
But then you'll start attracting people around you that will support you, that are for you, that want you to win. And then you hang on to those people because that's the kind of people you want to support yourself with and surround yourself with.
It reminds me of the saying, like, to bring in a new wardrobe, you need to clean out the old.
Yeah,
right?
make room. You have to make room for something else.
For different people. And I'm sure Franco had that, like he rubbed off on you a little bit, I'm sure, Wendee, at the start.
Yeah.
And now it's...
Literally and physically.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Good thing the podcast is not PG.
Okay then. Well,
It isn't anymore.
TMI. Too much information.
I love it.
I think too, you have to embrace the fact that you aren't who you need to be. Because if you want to make $1 million, let's say, well, if you were the person that could make $1 million, you would be making $1 million. So you really have to get excited about the fact that, okay, I'm not that person now, but I can grow into that person. And then you've got to be intentional about the reading. Like when I first started our business, I'd always been attracted to like motivational type books.
Right.
But this is going to sound crazy, but I never thought it was actually a thing. Like, I was like, oh, it's a thing. Like I could go get a book on any area that I wanted. Like, like
It's so true.
wow,
It's a thing.
so then you get excited about, okay, where do I want to get better? And you talk about who you want to attract to yourself.
Sure.
I will always say to my team, well, make a list, and you could do this in relationships, anything. Make a list of all of the traits that would be someone you'd want to attract into your life or into your business. Like, what are those traits, those ways of being, those traits?
Right.
Then rate yourself 1 to 10 on how you are at each of those traits, and then have someone else rate you. Like, hey, where would you rate me on a scale of 1 to 10 in all these categories? And then you can look at it, and rather than make it wrong and get upset, oh, yeah, you said I'm a 2 in this. That's not right. Then look at it and say, you know what? Okay, I know what I need to work on now. And then you can go seek out working on yourself in that area, because skills of business you can teach a kindergartner.
So
Right? The
true.
business is 20% skills,
Right.
80% emotions, self-awareness, how you think.
Well, I love that you, in your case, Wendee, that you actually take the time to write a list because it's important to you, right? Most people will think about it on their drive into work or in the shower, but they don't actually put pen to paper.
Well, let's look at why, right? So we grew up in an educational system not designed for you to be a winner in business. It's not designed for that. We know the educational system is designed to create employees, which is that's what it was designed to do originally, and that's what it is. So when we start people in our business, we realize that. So we create a training system for them to retrain them how to think. Because how you think to be an employee is different than how to think how to be an entrepreneur. The thinking is totally different. So when we realize that, so we can make that wrong. We can say, or we take responsibility for that and say, okay, that's the way that it is when people come in. Now, how do we train them to get them to where they need to be as fast as possible? And that's always the challenge. And we're always looking how to improve that and how to make that better. So when people come into our business, they come into a whole educational experience. And for some of them, it's like, wow, I didn't realize I had to think this way. And we teach you. This is how you have to think. This is the thinking required. This is the attitude that you need. This is the discipline required. And for some of them, it's like pretty shocking. But to me, it's like it takes them to a whole new level of living life that when they go through it, they're like, wow, this is amazing.
I've heard you talk and write about the business change for you, Franco, when you figured that it was about what you're giving, not taking from the business.
Well, yeah. So interesting story. We have 4 incredible owners of our company. They're just visionaries. To build the business they've built in 26 countries in industries that normally belong to gazillionaires,
right,
and to allow the average person to participate in it, that's a big deal.
For sure it is.
And that comes from them loving people. So I remember one day I was meeting with the chairman of our company, and I was really struggling in the business at the beginning. I wasn't understanding it. I wasn't getting it. And he looked at me and he goes, and this is before he knew who I really was. And he shook my hand and he goes, "Don't worry, Franco, you'll get this. I believe in you." I'm like, how does this guy even know who I am? Like, how does this guy even know who I am? And then it dawned on me. Do I care about my people the way he cares about me? Does he even know? I'm like, no. And the honest truth was, no, I didn't. It was all about
in it
me.
for yourself.
About myself.
Right.
And then from that day forward, everything shifted for me about, okay, now how do I make a difference for my organization the way they care about us? And from that day forward, my whole business shifted because my focus came on everybody else.
And it's like day to day, I'm sure. Just
Everything, just from the way I think to the way I act to the trainings that I create to how I create them to how I build the organization to everything. Like literally that one shift, like, because remember, I have a saying, the context is decisive.
the context is decisive.
Whatever the context you're creating is decisive for the result you're going to achieve. So if your context is off, you can never get the results that you want. So the context then became for my business and for my life is, okay, how many people's lives can we impact? Can we change? How many people can we get to this level of income? How many people can we get to over here? Versus what's going to be my income? What am I going to achieve? What's my goal going to be? So from that point forward, it's like, wow, that was totally crazy.
How many people are in the organization now?
I have tens of thousands of people, and now, 10X right now is really big, right?
Right.
So now I'm 10Xing my business. We want to take it to the $1 billion level. And
that's your personal business?
My personal business inside of ACN, correct. Okay. Now, that's going to require us to help hundreds of people build $1 million business for themselves and billing inside of the company, right? So it's exciting. And that's going to also feed 1 million children per month.
How does that work?
So our owners decided to do something really special. They found out that between Canada and the US, 17 million kids go to bed hungry every night.
Wow.
Just in North America. So we it's great to take care of Asian kids and everybody else.
Yeah.
But no one does anything for North America.
I didn't even know that number.
I know. It's so sad. And it's a lot in Canada. So what they decided to do, which is amazing, is whenever a customer signs up for their bill through us and pays through our online store, we feed a child.
Amazing.
We feed a child. So we feed, our organization feeds tens of thousands of kids a month. And our goal is to take that to 1 million meals per month for kids. So
per month?
Per month.
Wow.
That's our goal. So it's a big deal. And how it works is wherever we get the cell phone customer, TV customer, energy customer, gas customer, it's in that city we feed those children.
Oh, that's cool.
Isn't that cool?
I like that.
I know.
That's a nice type.
So yeah, exactly. So it's really an amazing, and now they've started doing that in Colombia and in Mexico and Australia, all the other countries around the world, because if we can, why not? If we can impact children, why not? And that comes out of their pocket. They didn't have to do that.
Right.
But it also incentivizes us to go and get more customers because we know we're going to be feeding more kids.
In Canada, because majority of our listeners and viewers are in Canada.
Of course, the greatest country in the world. Sorry. Miss American.
Born and raised where, Wendee?
I've been in Arizona mostly.
Mostly?
Yeah. Grew up in Virginia, but been in Arizona forever. Yeah.
Okay. And just your thoughts of Toronto now. Like, I'm sure you've been here a lot. And
I love it.
Did you know
It's
Toronto
great.
before? Like before Franco? No? Okay,
No,
cool.
had never been here. No, I think
Are you
it's
okay
great.
with the snow and the cold? And
Well, I am because I know I get to go to the warm whenever I want. It's the beauty of residual income. We can just leave.
you can
So
fly.
we're too cold now. We're just going to leave.
Yeah,
So
that's why
I like it.
Can I ask about
Yeah.
the plane? How did that come about?
So interesting. So I said, okay, I want to help. It came from the thought, I want to help a lot of people become wealthy. I want to help hundreds of people become wealthy. That means I have to travel more. Then I thought, I don't want to go to airports and airplanes. That sounds horrible. I don't want to get stuck in lines.
Customs and all that
I
kind
need
of
my
stuff.
own airplane. Oh, I have to learn how to fly it. All right. So I started taking flying lessons.
I always thought this was like a childhood thing of yours, so it wasn't. Like
It
you weren't.
was.
Oh, was it? Okay,
It was,
okay.
but like in the back of my mind.
Got it.
But nothing, that brought it to the foreground. It brought it to the foreground, right? Because
love
I used
that.
to be the biggest chicken flyer in the world. Like
Okay.
I'd be like turbulence, and I'd be like, "Oh my god, we're gonna die! Yeah, we're gonna die! No!" That's how I used to be. We used to fly. It's horrible. So a friend of mine helped me overcome my fear one day.
Okay.
And I think, oh, great. And that's when it started to percolate a little bit. And then when I had that thought, I said, okay, now is it. This is the time to do it.
I'm gonna do this.
And I'm not the smartest person in the world. I was never the greatest student in the world. So for me, learning, like I can't even change the oil in my car. Now I'm learning how an airplane works. I'm like, so I remember I had to get a private instructor to teach me because in flying, you make a mistake, you die. It's not a good thing.
Yeah.
So I was sitting across from him, and he's great. And he looked at me, and he's teaching me, and he goes, Franco, nothing I'm telling you is going in, is it? I go, no, I'm not getting any of this right now. So let's do it again. So God bless him. He was so, I'd be with him sometimes like 6, 7, 8 hours a day.
Oh, wow, okay.
Learning how to be a pilot. But he taught me really great. I'm really proud of like the skills that I've developed because of his trainings. Has been pretty awesome. And so then I got to learn on my own airplane. So very few people could not only become a pilot, but on their own airplane learn.
Right.
And that was pretty cool.
Well, look what residual income has allowed for.
That's true. And
Right. Even the time.
Well, it's freedom. That's all it is. It's freedom.
you can't put a price on freedom. See, here's the one thing I finally realized after years of being in business. If you can't do what you want when you want, you're not free. If you're stuck working in a particular location, you're not free. If you're stuck in a particular city, you're not free. If you can't get up and go whenever you want, you're not free. And that usually means you don't have residual income coming into your household. And to me, the holy grail of income is residual income. And now, usually it's reserved for the people that are very wealthy. Mm-hmm. It usually is. Because they can invest in those things that can bring it in. That's why I'm so passionate about our business, because we can take the biggest companies in the world, have them play with them and compete with them at the same time, and make as much money as they want.
I love it. Guys, I always like to leave these pod sessions with one tip for the listeners. It could be anything from a leadership perspective, entrepreneurship perspective, real estate, what to eat, what you had for, like whatever you like. It's your mic.
Go ahead.
I'm going to start with obviously the most beautiful person on this pod session by far.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
I'm going to start with you, Wendee. Wherever you'd like to go with it. And sorry to put you on the spot.
Yeah, that's okay. No, I'm so grateful to have gotten to where I am today. And it's really not because I'm special. It's just because I just learned a few things. I started listening to people that had what I wanted and, in every regard, and started following that. So one thing I would tell people is you can't compare yourself to others. Because when you do, I feel like what I heard a saying, comparison is the thief of joy. And now in the Instagram and social media age, we're comparing ourselves to everyone else. And so like in our business, I didn't break any records like what Franco did in a short amount of time. It took me a long time to do. And I actually learned this from him. And he said, well, keep in mind who you were when you started. So whatever it is you're doing, don't compare yourself to others, because in our business, he came into ACN, had already owned businesses, had already had a ton of personal growth and development. He just had to learn the network marketing, model, our model. And so for me, when I came into our business, I'd never owned a business. I didn't know personal development was a thing, right?
Right.
I didn't.
You were so green to it all, right?
Yeah, I had never done network marketing, and so rather, comparing myself like to someone like him, just messes you up in your head because everyone's always looking at, I'm not good enough, I can't do it, not for me. And so I think in anything you're doing, whether it's your health or relationships, your business, you can't compare yourself. If you watch racehorses, they have blinders on. Why? Why do they have blinders on? Because if they look to the right and they look to the left, they're going to get tripped up and someone's probably going to die. So they have blinders on so they can focus on moving forward and not seeing what everyone else is doing. And so that would be my biggest thing for people is if someone else has done it, you can do it. Don't compare yourself. You're not them. Everybody has a different start. Everybody's at a different place, but just don't give up. Don't give up. Just keep going.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Mr. Franco Lofranco.
So one thing is first I want to acknowledge you, because doing things like this makes a big difference for people. We need more guys doing what you're doing. So I know you love to help people and like to make a difference for people. So we're grateful for people like you, because just listening to this, I know can inspire people and change somebody else's life, even in a small way every day. Listen to a positive message, a message of growth and development. And if I could tell people just one thing, every day just work on yourself. Like to her point, it doesn't matter what somebody else is doing. What are you doing? What are you doing every day to improve your life? And so one of our owners always says, next year at this time, be here and be a better person. Be a better person than you were the year before.
Yeah.
And if you just focus on that, there's no telling what you can achieve and where you can go, because anything's possible. And tip, be healthy. One of the things we focus on a lot is our health. Like one thing we love doing is intermittent fasting. We love that. Stem cell, we've done
listeners again, these two are like, they look super healthy. Glowing, both of you.
Thanks to her.
Yeah.
Right. So like stay healthy, because you're important. You matter. Your longevity matters. And the healthier you are, the more of a difference you can make other people. Be an inspiration for people. It's not just always about you. What difference can you make, and what example can you be for others?
Love it. I'm going to close it off by my tip is Google residual income. Start there if you don't know what it is. And if you do know, get it some way, somehow in your life, because it might not be wanting a plane. It might not be wanting extra time even. It might just be an extra $1,000 a month that you need to help you pay the bills.
Peace of mind is also priceless.
Priceless. You
To
can't
have
even put a
peace of
tag on
mind,
that, right?
yeah.
It might be wanting to send the kids to swimming class because whatever it is, you need to get some. And I think it becomes, and I can speak for myself when I say it becomes a little bit of a drug. You get some of it and then you want a little bit more of it.
Can't go back.
You can't.
Once you have residual, you can't go back.
They always say if you knew what residual income was, you would go through a brick wall to have it.
They should have taught this in,
Yeah.
you know,
I would
grade
have signed
6,
up.
7.
I would have
Like,
signed up for
imagine
that
us coming
class.
out and understanding it from that age. Franco, Wendee, thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
cannot
Pleasure.
tell you.
Thank
You're on the
you.
other side.
Thank you
I'm
so
going to come in
much.
for a hug because
Yes.
I'm a big hugger. I really appreciate this, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been fun. Thank you.
This has been the REC Experience Podcast with Jas Takhar, an REC Canada production.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching the REC Experience. Please make sure to subscribe, like, and share. Click here to watch and experience more videos from REC.